Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the It's Your Business radio show. We are kind of starting the show off a little bit differently. We have some unfortunately sad news to share. Our founder, one of our founders of the radio show, It's Your Business, Dr. Stan Fine, as we always humbly refer to him as Dr. Stan, left us on Friday, May 12th. He passed away at home, and we are going to take this opportunity today just to share about Dr. Stan. I have several of the board members with us today, as well as Dr. Stan's founding co-host, Jim Jump. Hello, Jim.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, and we have Rich Pisani in studio with us.
Good
Hello,
morning,
Rich.
everybody.
Good morning. And on the phones, we have Cleveland Rhodes, who is the president of the internet radio station that It's Your Business airs on every week, Monday through Fridays. Cleveland Rhodes. Hello, Cleveland.
How you doing, guys? How you doing?
Good. And then we also have Diane Carson. She is our resident promotional expert. She's been on the show several times. She also now has her own show called Women in Business. Diane, welcome.
Thank you. And hello from Bonnie, Scotland.
Yes, Diane's across the pond and talking to us.
The pond, I like that word.
Technology.
Yeah,
Yes.
good for you, Diane.
Yes. No, I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And, as board members of the It's Your Business radio show, we wanted to take this moment to really honor Dr. Stan and, share our stories about him and how we all got to be in the place we are with this show now. And I'm going to let Jim Jump kind of lead us off and share a little bit about Dr. Stan and his background and how you all came to be partners in crime.
Well, first of all, just not having him, whether he was sitting next to me or just knowing that he was working on all the things that we would talk about is difficult.
Yes.
Dr. Stan was relentless. He had visions. He had things that he wanted to get done. And at his age, at 79, there was no, I'll take a day off, because he was the hardest worker in the room. He really was.
Yes.
And he taught me an awful lot. Just as he reached out to me in 2019 via Rich Pisani, who's sitting across from me, he was looking for somebody to start a new show with, because Dr. Stan had been in radio. He had really gotten to a point where he wanted to do something more. And so he contacted me. We had a discussion about doing something more on the venue of engaging small business. And I had done a 10-year show at Lindenwood University, so I had kind of that background. On television,
Yeah.
right. And so it didn't take us long, as you can imagine. We talked about show names, and we got enough done, and we launched it in fall of 2019. And we were in Webster Grove at the original site, and we didn't have Cleveland Rhodes yet on the team. And
Thank God Cleveland's with us.
yeah, I mean, we didn't
Yeah.
we didn't even know who Cleveland was,
Yeah.
and that was then launching onto the internet and allowing us to really reach the biggest audience you could imagine. But so we got the show started. We were both working on getting guests, and it didn't take long. I mean, he was already a professional. I'd had some experience at doing interviews, and it was noticeable in terms of the response in the marketplace. And so allowed us to, as Stan said, we need to get this thing out there further and wider. And he did some research, and he'd come back and say, hey, I've talked to so-and-so. Good. Let's do that, Stan. And then it would be, well, I've talked to so-and-so, and I'd say, okay, then let's see what that is. And that's when he formed a relationship with our very good friend, Cleveland Rhodes. And as we then launched on his network, we had no idea, right? I mean, this was new. And that format was probably, for a lot of us, listening to shows via the internet was not a commonplace. here we are years later, and it couldn't be more commonplace.
Right.
And the numbers, Missy.
I'm going to let Cleveland share that with
Oh
you.
yeah, come on,
Because
Cleveland.
they've jumped up quite a bit since
Yeah.
our last board meeting, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Not right in front of me, guys. I really got it in front of me because I was, was in a heavy heart this morning, just thinking about, not really hearing Stan's voice anymore.
Oh no.
Mhm.
That's it. When you look at the numbers of how many people has reached and listened to It's Your Business Radio, and at first it was at 19 million. Now we're at 24 million listeners. And when you look at those numbers, all you could do is say, "Wow, what did Stan do?" He did the simplest thing. One thing he did, reach out to someone who had this high capability. And the funny about it, if he did, it would probably not going to reach in these amounts like we did it. But I just say that Stan, like Jim said, worked hard. I never know a 79-year-old man worked that hard in my whole
No,
life.
Right.
No.
You sit back and retire and sit there and let just enjoy retirement, but not Stan. Stan is not one of those guys that retire, because he used to email me early in the morning. I'm looking up and Stan,
I know.
Yep.
I know. Like, I know I'll be up at like 3 something in the morning. He be up. I'm like, Stan, you okay? Or you you're not supposed to be up this early, but he been working. And
Yep.
one of the things I really do admire about him, he did have those dreams, like Jim was saying, dreams of bringing a topic or bringing topics to people that don't know about this thing that he loves, is business.
Mhm.
And that's one of the biggest things I love about Stan, that he was very, very tenacious what he does. He is so precise. He's a pragmatist. He was on point. He wanted to solve problems. He wanted to make these things proactively work. And one thing, that's why joining the board was remarkable. But man, just having him as a friend and confidant, a person that I could admire and respect so much, because he's like an elder to me.
Yeah.
Like you guys are. He was like an elder, one of those guys that you cannot find anymore. And he will be truly missed. And, when we see these numbers reaching on the radio side 24 million listeners, and, people like Spotify and other places are looking into It's Your Business Radio and saying this is a profitable business, what can you say? And that's one of the things that you have to take upon yourself. The man like Stan, this needs to be honored. And I really do. I could ask anyone like him. So I don't want to go into a big other tangent, let everybody else talk, but yeah, Stan is really going to be truly missed, especially out here at my Diamond Radio
Right.
Network.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes.
Wow.
And Cleveland, can you just share a little bit? I know you did when you were here on the show with us, just how you and Dr. Stan came to be once he reached out.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny you say that, because the story was that it was in Unliable. It was a business place, like a social business place, where you meet with business people and different industries, everything else. And it was a group that we were in was about radio and television. And what I did was, just pretty much, because I was looking for something more compliant to what our network is. But at that time frame, I was like, I don't care who it was, as long as it will be someone that will have a good niche. So I just introduced myself to the group. And I saw Dr. Stan there too, but I kept scrolling down. And I that's one part I didn't say. I kept scrolling down. I was trying to find somebody or something, but it kept tagging me. So Dr. Stan reached out to me on Alignable, and next thing you know, we had exchanged emails and phone numbers. So I listened to the show. I said, "Well, this is gonna be a great show. We can put you on there." And he said, "Can we do it how you want to do it? I said, we could do it every day of the week. Huh? Yeah, it was that one show that we gave me, it was really, really good. Then, I think it was Rich that they was doing talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guest at that time. Yeah, I think it was. And it just blew up from there. It was a lot of people in the urban core literally listen and want to know about how to start a business and franchise and stuff like that. That's what it was.
Right, exactly.
And I kid you not, that was one of the great shows. And another one. Then when they got Misty on the show, that really shot to the roof. Then when Jim started talking about business planning, it was all over. People
That was
were
a great show, Jim's business planning show. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really, really, really powerful. So all that came out, then I knew we had something. And when I told Stan, this, I'd never seen this before. Here's the numbers. He said, "Are you sure this is real?" I said, "Yeah." And when every week, the numbers keep going. Yeah, that's when everything started to make sense. And that's when now we got 24 million listeners, and we got 10 million viewers, as of right now. So it's a really great thing that what Stan did.
Wow. So, Jim, you want to share a little bit about Dr. Stan and
Sure.
his background, and then we'll
And then we'll let everybody
I'll jump in.
share
in
about our stories with
because
him.
everybody's got their own experience with
yes.
Dr. Stan, and the show may not hold all this, but we'll do our best. And Dr. Stan and I used to, after the show when we first started, we'd go to lunch, and man, I would just listen, because that's what you do with a guy like that.
Yeah.
There was so much to him, and there was a lot of things he did in his career. He would just go, get into those conversations, and I would just listen. And it's pretty special now, some years later. I mean, you already know what it is, but it's even more so. So Dr. Stan did get his bachelor's in business from Clayton University. This is back in the 80s. Went on and got his MBA from the University of Maryland in 2000, and then got his PhD. That's why we call him Dr. Stan.
The
business doctor.
Business doctor. University of Wisconsin, Washington is where that was. He also served in the military for the U.S. Army, and so he had that background and experience, and served on a lot of different boards, worked for some big companies, and so that's where it was fun, because the time and place, the culture, the travel, the expense accounts. Yeah, this is how we would have lunch, and this is where we would go. And I'm like, okay, that was pretty cool.
You used to get those big expense accounts way back when.
Way back when, yeah.
Yeah, and he was in technology. He worked for World Telecom. He worked for Exeter Technologies, General Dynamics, which was a big company at the time,
huge here.
back from 1970-85. So he was a big boy in those days, and going to New York and doing all those things that those big execs did. And so when he then could talk about it, business and experiences, that was where he gave so much back. And his latest project, and I'll mention it real quick, it was a book, How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money, a guide for marketing professionals and business owners. And so that was via, Joe Clote, who's on the board. I did some chapters on business planning. Diane Carson, who's on the show with us, has her own show. Did how to market your small business. And so, man, he was just, I got an idea and I want to get this done. You will, Stan. You'll get it done.
Yes.
And so, Dr. Stan, and so he did. And I got a copy of the book just not long ago, and I'll hold on to that more tightly
Forever.
because that was one of the final
I got
projects.
a copy too.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It was pretty nice. And so, but I'll turn it over. Rich, you of course brought Stan to getting the show started because of a conversation. So
yeah, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, Mark Kaysen, who knew Doc for quite a long time. And Mark's been on and off radio and
Forever.
TV forever in St. Louis for 45 years. And he called me. He said, "You're going to get a call from Dr. Stan Fine, PhD, the business doctor." I said, "I've never heard of him." He said, "Well, you will, because you're going to get a call from him." I told him to call you. He's looking for a partnering effort with somebody that understands how to interview people on radio and or TV. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind as soon as he said that was Jim Jump, who I've known Jim since the 80s with our mutual friend Ed Bennett, who,
Right.
God rest his soul, he's up there with Stan right now.
Yeah, I know.
But the bottom
And
line
they're
is-
fighting to who gets to speak first at the next
Yeah,
seminar.
right.
That's what they're doing.
But,
We know that.
But Dr. Stan did call me in 2019, and he and I had a conversation on the phone, and immediately I liked the guy.
Mhm.
Just over the phone. His voice, he's very
Yep.
tempered and
Yep.
very nice guy. And on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the best friendship you could have over the last 4 years I developed, I'm a 12 with him.
I know.
So he's the kind of guy that you just love to love him. You know, he's just likable and lovable and smarter than a whiz, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but he asked me, he said, "Do you know anybody that would be a good partner for me to do such a thing?" And I said, "I know exactly the guy. I don't know if he's got the time because he's busier than a one-armed paper hanger, you know." And that's a guy named Jim Jump. So I gave him his name and number, and he talked to Jim. And Jim, what happened after that conversation? Take me from there. I wasn't there for
Well,
the
he
first
just
conversation.
reached out to me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
And, you know, when you get something like that, I don't know who this is. And so I had to kind of,
He made sure you knew
I
who
know,
it
right.
was.
And I had to
This is me,
I had to vet
business
that out a
doctor.
little bit.
Yeah.
And then we decided to do a phone call.
Yeah.
And we did.
Right.
Almost sounds like first date, right? It was, okay, we'll do the phone call. And then from there, we just quickly knew what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's where that background experience just comes together. You know, okay, I get this. This is something we both really
Yeah.
could do, and we quickly put it together. I mean, that's not normal. I mean, we had a conversation late summer, and by fall we were on the
2019.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
on the radio, and so yeah, it came together pretty quick.
Because I met with him right after your first show, and he asked me to be the first board member. I said,
Yeah.
absolutely, whatever I can do to help Jim and you. I said, I think there's a match between you and Jim and me and thee. So you guys took off with KWRH, was it 92.9 FM,
Yeah.
with an audience of about 2,400.
Yes.
And now you got 24 million. So
Yeah, I know.
way to go, Jim.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's still that 20 something, but now we're talking millions instead of 2,400.
Right.
And that really speaks to just what Cleveland knew, that there's an audience just looking for this, and they're
Yes.
taken to it, and
Yeah.
and they keep proving that. So
Yeah, no, it's an amazing show with such opportunity for small businesses. And I just feel very blessed to be part of it. And, but I'm going to let Diane share how she knows, because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm probably the newest one in the circle of knowing all of you. So,
And yet the most experienced with the doc.
you know,
That's
you
what I
made it
mean,
very
Chairman.
easy. You
Yeah.
made it
Yeah.
very easy.
yeah,
I honestly, I'm sitting here thinking, how did I even? I don't even remember how I got to know Dr. Stan.
He snuck into your life.
No.
yeah,
I know. I mean, somebody obviously said you need to know Dr. Stan. I'm not sure who it was, but the minute I got to meet him, we just clicked. And he said, "I have to have you on my show," and I'm like, "I'm not a radio person." And
Yeah, little
anyway,
did
he
you
I know
asked
she has a show.
yeah.
so he asked me to design his logo, and I did. I helped him with that. And then, you know, he had a vision, as I heard Cleveland say, and you know, he just he was able to tell you what that vision was, and I just think, you know, I took whatever it was that he wanted me to do and just kind of fed it back to him,
Mhm.
and he was so appreciative, so appreciative. You know,
Diane, I
anything
remember
I
when
did.
he showed me the logo, I thought that couldn't speak to what we were projecting better. And I said, whoever's doing this, Dr. Stan, you better stay right with who that is, because this is right on. And then and then a week later, I got it in a coffee cup. I'm like, well, that's going to be in my house every day now. And then, then we got the notebooks, and it just went from there. And then I've got a nice picture of him and I on the radio. That was a canvas. That's in my office at home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he brought that to me at one of our lunches. I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I can put in my office at home.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
That's great.
Well,
Great shot of you
initially-
too.
yeah.
Initially, it was just a male figure with the microphone, and he said, "Oh, I love this. I think this is great." And I said, "No, I think you need to have a female in there." Oh, I said, "Don't you think you're going to have female business listeners as well? Let's have some inclusivity here."
Yeah,
So,
really.
yeah. So then he said, "Well, show me." So I said, "Oh, yeah, I really love that."
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, I just so miss, I think I probably chatted with him pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
was my
same here.
mentor. He was my buddy.
yeah.
He, as Rich said, he just, his friendships were just way over the top.
Right.
You just know he cared about you. He was always sending me little texts with, little emojis, little,
Yeah.
hug emojis,
Yeah.
and things like that. And I just, and Missy and I laughed when I talked to her the other day, and I said, I just hear him saying, "We're solid. We're solid.
Right.
We're solid. That's his line. Yeah.
That was his
Yep.
thing.
We're
Yeah.
solid." Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and one of
absolutely.
the sayings that I have that I was going to say for the end of the show, but so as my schedule changed and I wasn't on the show, he would call me every now and then, and the message he always gave me was, "Jim, we're family."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the thing that he always said.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want
we're
to do,
family.
whatever you can
Yeah.
do, the door's
Mhm.
open. Jim, we're family.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
when I would
Yeah.
hear that just spoke volumes.
Yeah.
And as I'm saying
Yeah,
it right now, it
absolutely.
really, that's one of
Mhm.
those things that for me personally, just that was my relationship with him, and that's how
Yeah,
he.
same here. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's how he
talked with
spoke
him
to it.
for the
Mhm.
4 years I knew him. We probably talked 2 or 3 times a week for 4
Mhm.
years, just
Yes.
about everything and nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Catholicism, the
Everything.
Bible, the
Yep.
radio show,
Yep.
small business,
Mhm.
women in business, your
Yep.
show,
Yes.
all the things. And he said,
Mhm.
"What can I do to help you?" I said,
I know.
"You have done so much already to help so many people. You're already
Mhm.
doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing, Doc.
Right.
I'm 76, you're 79 now, and
I
we
know.
just keep." And he's on our St. Louis Ambassadors board, as you know, for
Yeah.
you've been on there since 2015.
Yeah.
And Jim nominated him to go on our board 3 years ago, and he did.
Yep.
And he won our
Mm-hmm.
Communication Excellence Award, which we presented to him at the board meeting
Mhm.
for the radio show back about 8
Mhm.
months ago. So,
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
close. Like you said, he was like a family member.
Truly.
Yeah.
I try to get him to my house because I would do that 4th of July party
Right.
that some have come to. And we talked about that one like all the time because I can't get upstairs. I can't do that. And I said,
Mhm.
we'll get you where you need to go, Dr. Stan. I really want you to
Right.
come over. It's kind of a special place.
It
You'd love
is.
the view. You'd enjoy it. I just want you to come over for a day. And I tried my hardest. We just could never get that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't get him to Sicardi's house either for our St. Louis
Yeah, that-
Ambassadors.
And so
cocktail
what we're
reception
bringing
program
up is that he
because
did
of the
have the physical,
wheelchair, right?
Mhm.
issues, and that was unfortunate
did.
because there was
Yeah.
things like that I
Yeah.
wanted him to be there for, and we were going to do the 4th of July kind of in honor of the show, and
Right,
that was kind of what
exactly.
we were thinking about, but oh well.
Exactly. I just want to remind everyone you are listening to the It's Your Business radio show. We are here today talking about Dr. Stan Fine, who left us on Friday, May 12th. He has gone to hopefully a happier, pain-free place. But to what you were saying about Dr. Stan with his ailments, I think what I appreciated so much about him was, like Cleveland said, his tenacity. I mean, like that man
Unbelievable.
would not let that stop him from doing anything and, accomplishing, moving this radio show forward and doing all the things. I mean, I talked to him Wednesday, right before he passed away. And, and like Diane said, our conversation ended, we're solid. As long as we're on the same page, we are solid.
solid.
And it was his plan to come back, and,
Why
which
not?
was
Why
our
wouldn't it
hope.
be? Right.
Exactly. And, so it was a little bit of a shocker, but just like all of you have shared, I mean, I know there's no accidents, and it was, in my mind, a sheer accident. I stumbled across Dr. Stan because you and he were sponsors one month in our
Gateway
group.
Dreams. I remember that.
Diane and
Yeah.
I belong to. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like I was preparing the agenda and everything, and I'm like reading both of your bios, and I told Diane, I was like, I need to talk to Dr. Stan and Jim Jump. I'm like, because I was really reaching out for help with my skincare business. And I talked to Dr. Stan, and we probably talked about an hour at least, our
Really?
first conversation.
Wow, okay.
And he ends it, and he's like, do you want to do radio? He's like, have you thought about it? I'm like, no. I was like, we talked about maybe podcasting. He's like, well, we'll meet next week, which was like in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It was right before Memorial Day, and met him then. He had all this paperwork as to why I was going to be on the air and how it was going to benefit
You were
me.
going to be on the air.
Yes. And he goes, so what do you see skincare being on the radio show? And I was like, I don't. I'm like, I go,
Boy, he came a long way.
yeah, I was like, I see it being all about mind, body, and spirit more than
Yeah.
the skincare.
product,
Because
right.
skincare isn't, you can't talk about skincare forever. I mean, you could, but not in the way in which I saw it, going. And so that was the week before Memorial Weekend, and July 8th was my first show. And I think I sweat through my clothes. I told Mark, I'm like, you need to wipe the seat off. I was so nervous.
Right, yeah.
But look how many other people you brought into
Right.
our network with their shows. I mean, we had quite a different group of
Yeah.
types of shows that he was building. He wanted to see those slots
Yeah.
filled,
Yeah.
full
Absolutely.
every day, and he was getting there.
Yes. So believe it or not, we are coming up on our break, but I want to encourage you to stay tuned. We're going to share more stories about Dr. Stan. We want to let you know that It's Your Business is going to continue. So stay with us.
If you're looking for a new informative health and lifestyle show to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully, then you need to listen to Sage Advice with Melissa. Now, whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from industry experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. Melissa's mission? To guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice to help improve your life. So be sure to tune in to Melissa. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our number one priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland. Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit publishingconceptsllc.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
In today's economy, there are more people looking to buy and sell businesses than ever before. When a company owner needs to sell their business, they can't just stick a for sale sign in the window. They need the assistance of a business broker to locate and vet potential buyers. On the other side, buyers rely on the broker to help facilitate the process of evaluating potential businesses and franchises for sale. A Transworld Business Advisor is the solution for both scenarios. Transworld Business Advisors focus on 3 core concepts: business brokerage, franchise consulting, and franchise development. Transworld has specialized in the sale of business and commercial real estate. Today, Transworld Business Advisors is a global network of brokers offering a turnkey solution for those that want to build a solid business and future for themselves while maintaining a balanced quality of life. With our comprehensive training program, full marketing support, and local field support, you won't have to start from scratch. Our trained experts and members will help you every step of the way. Transworld Business Advisors has 40 plus years of experience, 10,000 plus businesses sold, and 600 plus brokers, 250 offices worldwide. For a free initial consultation, call Charlie Scarlett, business broker, or Billy Rowland, business broker, at 636-400-6100. Again, that's Charlie Scarlett, business broker, or Billy Rowland, business broker, at 636-400-6100.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of the It's Your Business radio show. We are here today honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Stan Fine. He departed this earthly place on May 12th, and we are just sharing stories. We have several of the board members, as well as Jim Jump, who is also a board member and founder of the It's Your Business radio show. We have Cleveland Rhodes, who is the platform in which we are on the national side via internet radio and TV.
Zeno network, yeah.
Yes. And we have Rich Bazzani from our board and Diane Carson online. She's calling in from Scotland today.
Hey, Diana, what's it like out in Scotland today? We need a weather report.
Is that near Paducah, Kentucky, Jim? It's Scotland.
It's
Hello,
the
I'm
cool
from
side.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. What time is it there right now?
It's almost 6 o'clock in the evening.
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
there. Perfect timing.
Yeah, there you go.
I know, we're
She's looking at the dinner menu, and we're sitting around at lunch table.
We're looking at lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch versus dinner. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of lunch, as you were saying, once you had to, depart from the show, that was one thing that Dr. Stan and I did every Thursday
Went to
after
lunch.
the show was go to lunch because, Doc loved his food.
Yes. And that was where you could kind of debrief, and
Yes.
there's always stuff he always had something next, and so you want to kind of get planning again. I mean,
Right.
there was no, don't worry about it. You were on it.
Yes.
I mean, because he knew there was
Stuff to talk about.
stuff to talk about. Yes.
Mhm.
And that was good though, because you got to have that element,
Mhm.
because there's a lot that it takes to do this on a weekly basis. And man, I mean, again, you learn from the best.
Yes.
How long have you been doing your show now?
So it'll be 2 years this July.
No kidding.
2 years.
I remember
yeah.
when you started, and I thought, gosh, this is such an interesting show. I've never really, when I listen to your show, I
Mhm.
go, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you've got some very interesting people on the
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah.
just like the doc had.
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing because, talking is like one of my favorite things. And to be able to do it on the air,
On the air.
and really share, these amazing people that are in my world and sphere of influence to the whole world, really.
Yeah.
Thanks to Cleveland, has just been amazing.
Well, how many millions of listeners does Sage have?
Last I heard, I think we were close to 12 million, but
Oh
I
my
don't
God,
know
really?
if Cleveland has better numbers now.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Melissa, it's kind of wrong that I do have your number from me.
Oh, imagine that.
I put million as of today. I think that what you got, Melissa, is a powerful and refreshing show. I really, I can't have words to say that Dr. Stan knew who he picked. Rich is one of my co-founders of Internet Media Providers, Michael Van Lowe, who taught us Stan a lot. I mean, you talk about y'all guys talk. They talk a lot, and Stan talks to me like they talk to the Red Sea Departed. But that's another story because we do talk hours and just get the thing going, everything else. But I want to give Michael Van Lowe. I know he's there for a second. It's brief because he said he wanted to say something about Dr. Stan, about who he was, everything else to him. And as Dr. Stan is part of our board of Internet Media Providers, we want to do one thing for him. Do our radio and television networks on Internet Media Providers, which is Active Media as well. We want to commemorate him. We want to let people know who he is and also have a brief history about including this show that we're doing today.
Wow.
Oh,
So,
Great.
Yeah, so what we are doing probably next week, even we're just going to just give a whole week about Dr. Stan through the network and let people know who he really was to us.
Yes.
And I'm amazed. So I want Michael to say just a few words before you guys know before everything else. Before I start talking so much myself. So go ahead, Michael.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Michael Van Lowe. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I'm the CEO of Christ the King Radio Ministries.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, which is a partner to Atu Media and Internet Media Providers. We here in Denver, Dr. Stan really helped me out because when I met Dr. Stan, I was I was in a brain fog. I'd been doing radio half my life, but running the radio station, I've been running Christ the King Radio since 2003, but there were still things I needed to learn. And I sat down a couple of times with Dr. Stan and really got myself kind of straightened out. And I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
Because he was in the middle of explaining to me some things I could do to increase my listenership. And we had to both of us had things happen where we had to get off the phone and we never did get reconnected. So I was really sorry to hear of his departure.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let everybody know that Dr. Stan was really the best at what he did. And he was able to take someone who thought they knew what they were doing and still no, it's like this right here, and even though it looks like that, it's really this.
Wow, that's great
Yeah.
insight from somebody that's already in the business. That's great
Right.
to hear, Michael.
Right.
Yes. So let me ask on your behalf, Michael, in the new book, because I've not looked at the whole book yet. Is there anything on radio in there?
You know what?
No?
I have not
Okay.
read the new book. So before I go any further, let me tell you a little secret about me. I'm legally blind. So
Wow.
there's a lot of stuff that I don't get to read. I have to have it read to me.
Oh,
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's where Dr. Stan came in really good, because even though I was legally blind, he was proud of the fact that I was willing to try
Wow.
to do what I was doing. And
Yes.
so the advice he gave me was invaluable.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Man, if
awesome.
that doesn't speak volumes to another connection and story about Dr. Stan, that's,
Yeah, no
that's
kidding.
tremendous.
Yes.
I'm glad you're on today's show. That's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
Now, I'm
sharing.
gonna get back to listening. Right.
So Michael, I think we're solid.
Your family.
Yeah. And
family.
of course, you already know your family.
As long as we're on the same page, we're solid.
Exactly.
right, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you for joining.
You're solid. Yeah. Oh man.
Awesome. Cleveland, were you going to share something else? You said.
Yeah. Beforehand, I just wanted to tell you guys that it's the lot of people. I shared this. I was going to go ahead and make an announcement today after the show of Dr. Stan's passing and everything else. I already reached out to a lot of people, and it's people in New York who love Dr. Stan. I mean, Dr. Stan was really strong in St. Louis, New York, Chicago, and of course Denver and Memphis area, and Nashville, and other places as well. But those are the real strong points, especially New York, which is hometown. A lot of people. It's one guy named, I think his name is Tony Manini, I believe. Yeah, Tony Manini. He's from New York. I think he knows Stan very well. He heard of him, everything, know his family, everything else, the Five family in New York City. And when he heard about his past and everything else, it shocked him. So, of course, he went on Facebook and other places. And he reached out to us, and he really called me. He called me yesterday, and we talked. I told him what was going on. He said, you know that Stan has reached a lot of people in New York City, New York. I said,
Wow.
we know that. We been, looking into the data, and of course, 24 million people that's been reached. And New York's one of the biggest ones. But he said that, well, he reached a lot of people to really get people to look at business differently. And when I heard that, I was in deep awe with it. That
Wow.
Yeah.
this guy who knows Stan, his family, and other people in New York and other places really, really was touched about him. And to pardon him, but no, I won't even say pardon. I would say that he's like family, like our guys were saying. That's a family. He said, we good, we good, we solid. And every time he said that, I would say, Dad, get this a rest, I want to talk to you later. And he was like, yeah, I will, cause my body's hurt. I said, I know, but come on, your mind, it was soft as a cat. And the thing about it, that really what I'm really going to miss about him the most is that he really cares. And
You're right about that.
Oh my God, he cares a lot. He got a big heart, and when you think about that, that really hits you. That his heart is so massive to reach a lot of people, 24 million listeners all over the United States. And that's really the bigger, beautiful thing about Dr. Stan, that we will commemorate his legacy, and this is not gonna go nowhere. So that's one of the great things about this show, is that it's not going anywhere. It'll continue on with the hands of Melissa and Jim and all the guys. It's just a really, really honor to have a guy like Stan to be part of our lives.
And equally, we're fortunate to have you, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Part of this,
And none of us are even
effort.
sitting here or
Right.
are on the show had we not
Met
met
Dr.
Dr.
Stan.
Stan.
Yeah,
I know.
And that's not that very long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're all better off for it as we all get
Yeah.
that chance to even think and imagine just having not met him. I mean, that would be
Right.
that'd be disappointing actually,
Yes.
because I mean, just think of how many people that he's speaking of, but all around St. Louis
Yeah.
to you name it. I mean, there's so many people
That know him.
Yeah, that know who
Yeah.
he is. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, you know, after having met Dr. Stan and just all of our endless conversations that we had, that what I really admired about him, especially being the age that he was, is how much he appreciated women in business.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
the support that he offered to so many of us, and you know, showcasing us in the way in
Yeah.
which he did
Mhm.
via radio, or you know, just
both your shows, you and Diane,
yeah, I
on
mean,
a weekly basis.
yeah, I feel not that I don't have amazing parents, but I feel like my business partner from my skincare company, and now Dr. Stan from the radio side, that they're like my mom
Pillars.
and dads of sorts. And like I've got these two legacies now to, you know, hold up and
honor.
keep going. And hopefully Jim will maybe come and play on the radio a little bit more with me now. And, you know, we'll see how things go. But
So you had personal parents and business parents.
I
huh?
do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, really, like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
age-wise,
Well,
they're like the
he
same
al-
age as my parents.
Yeah.
He always used to call me up and tell me that I'm listening to your show, and it's
Yeah.
just great. It's just great. And I said, what are you listening to today? Oh, I'm listening to the dating coach you have on. I said, oh, are you getting any advice? He said, after my marriages, I think I have all
Oh,
the
God.
advice I need.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You know
I
what,
used to
Diane?
speak to that.
Yeah.
At lunch.
Yeah, no, he would tell me he's listening to my show. I'm like, are you learning anything? And he's like, I'll take some
Yeah.
of it under advisement.
Under advisement. That was what he said.
It was in the health
Yeah.
and wellness arena, and he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he didn't want to hear too much.
Wow.
So
I just think that this whole, this is amazing of what this Dr. Stan did, and I mean, to me, with Rich Pasani, that's one thing I've never read. I said, this is an uncle. I love Rich. I think Rich is one guy that, you know, when Dr. Stan met was the first time he came to St. Louis and be part of the board, it was remarkable to me with Rich and, of course, Joe and the rest of the team and everything.
mhm.
Yeah, we've got a great board.
Oh,
We really do.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, the board is so diverse. It's one of those boards that you say no one cannot do this by themselves, but Dan he put these pieces together, and now it is a very unique, a different, diverse people
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can help us to make what we are doing now a reality. And I'm just commend
Right.
you guys, saying that with all my heart. I commend you. Thank you guys for it. Thank you, Dr. Stan. I really
Yes.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Jim? What's a fond memory?
Well, the more
I know
time
there's so many.
right, but the more time I spent with him, I couldn't believe how much there was still yet to learn. Meaning, you kind of, you know what I mean by that. You get with somebody for some time, you kind of know
Yeah.
everything about them or what they've done in their lives and so on and so forth. But with him, it never ended. It was like because we met every week, you know, and did the show and went to. I mean, we did this for a good year plus, and just
Yeah.
every time we sat down, there was just a
Wow.
wider, bigger, more things that we would get into, and for me, that's what I'll miss, because everybody needs that. You got to have that person that kind of gives you that. Oh yeah, that's bigger ideas, or those things that we we can still do this, Jim. I mean, it was always those kinds of conversations, and I
Right.
think we all know what that means.
Mhm.
And for me, that was everything. It just made me feel so good. It was like, gosh, this was a right thing to be doing at the right time with the right person. And it just continues
Right.
to show that to me. And I'll forever miss that.
Mhm. Yeah.
By the way, Sicardi Bruce, who's out of town right now in
Yeah.
Florida, said to give his condolences, and he would like to do whatever he can to help continue the legacy for the business doctor, as
Yeah.
Sicardi calls it. And
Good.
Cleveland, you're at the helm of this ship called Dr. Stan Fine's Ship Ahoy.
Yes.
So with y'all guidance, I definitely try to make sure I steer it in the right direction. Which I know we are going in the right direction.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Oh my God, y'all awesome. Dr. Stan, like I said, did it. I literally learned a lot from him, and man, yes, we will definitely continue on this beautiful journey. And I think that the journey never going to stop from just even from us.
No.
Dr. Stan is the one brought in Jim, now Melissa, and you, Richard, and definitely Diane. And, you know, I just make sure that we have many more ships like this. I mean, this is an awesome thing to have when you have a man vision come to reality. I'm glad I'm part of it and continue on to make sure that legacy continues to go forward.
Mhm.
Well
Yes.
said.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, Dr. Stan, he had foresight. He saw the complete value of the internet radio broadcasting system around the world, you know,
Yep.
and he also had foresight to put you in a position as chairman of our board of directors, Melissa. And I want to say thank you for what you have done, but more importantly, for what you're about to do with
Right.
Jim
Mhm.
and with the board. So if there's anything that I can do with Sicardi Bruce and the St. Louis Ambassadors to help you, you're on our board also. So we're all St. Louis Ambassadors trying to help Dr.
Right.
Legacy out. So just count us in for whatever you need.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you so much. No,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
I do feel so blessed to have been thought enough of,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
by Dr. Stan to really take on his baby in this way,
Right.
and to have all of you around me, because you know you're all teachers for me as well. I always tease Rich and Sicardi when they come on the show. They're like the godfathers of business in my mind. You know,
Right.
just, you know, the amount of years and knowledge and with Dr. Stan too. I mean, like being
Yes.
with all three of them on the radio is
Yeah.
just like so impactful and meaningful. And, you know, there's something that's coming up that Dr. Stan started, Small Business America,
Right.
which, you know,
Yeah, that
has
was a
been
great
the
show
last
we were doing. Yes.
2 years. It's usually a 2-hour special, so we'll have to figure out how that's going to look. But in talking with Cleveland, we very much want that to happen again this year. So that'll be
Yeah.
part of our discussions
Yeah.
in our next board meeting to, you know, really figure out how that's going to look and who's going to be on it. I'm hoping
Yeah.
Jim might put that on the schedule.
Yes. No, that was one
And
of the
do
best
that with me.
shows we would do every year.
Yeah.
Because we bring live guests.
It was
and-
great.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that to me, and we had others in the studio, of course, too.
Yeah.
But by the time we were done, we had a nice overview of business people, and it was all done in that 2-hour show. He and I would talk about these ideas, and then he would put it together. He'd make it happen. Yeah, and so that's one good example of it.
Exactly. So that's going to be forthcoming. You know, we're going to keep this ship, you know, sailing for him and do a lot of fun things. And yes, anybody want to share anything else about Dr. Stan? We still have a few minutes.
I'm going to miss him big time. I tell you, like I said, I'm used to talking to
Me
him
too.
2-3
Already
times a week
miss
for the
him.
last
I
4
already
years.
miss them big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to miss the guy. He
Yeah.
was a wonderful friend, and
Yeah.
he became a mentor to me, you know.
Mhm.
And when you have a friend and a mentor that you
Mhm.
lose, I feel like I've lost
Mhm.
part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now. And if it weren't for the board and you, Melissa, being the chairman and Jim being the co-founder, I feel like I can fill that void with our board members and all of you. So thank you for being there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to miss his advice and his listening skills. I used
Yeah.
to call him on the way to the studio, and I would be ranting and raving about it. And this client did, and he just in his very calm voice would say, "Well, this is what I think you should do, and this is how I think you should handle this." And his advice was it was golden. It was just golden.
Yeah.
And then I'd call them later and I'd say, "I'm so sorry. I'm calling you because I know you have 1,000 things on your mind,
Yeah.
and you don't need me calling you with shouting about this, that, and the other." And he said, "We're okay. We're fine. We're family. We're okay."
But that's what he wanted. He wanted those interactions.
Yeah.
He
That was his
did.
life, and
Yes.
that's what we all can speak to, and we all have them. And,
Yeah.
so that was important.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make no mistake, that's
Yeah.
what he wanted to be doing.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think it just gave him such purpose having
Yes.
all of us in his
Yeah.
world and teaching and sharing and all the conversations and the endless texting that would go on, because there was lots of texting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yes.
texting.
Yeah.
I wanted him to bring his guitar on the show one day.
Yeah,
I really did. I said, "Doc, you got to
I
do it at
know,
least for
yeah.
Christmas or something." He said, "Okay, I'll think about it this year." But now, no, that's not going
I
to happen.
know.
Well, we're in 3 minutes, so we all want to go around one last time and just kind of give you final thoughts. That would be a good way to finish up today's
Yes.
show.
Yeah,
Yes.
Doc, I love you like a brother. I'm going to miss you. And if there's anything up there that you can throw down our way to give us some guidance and direction with our chairman, Melissa Coleman and Cleveland Rhodes, steering the ship nationally, please do it. We need your
Yeah,
help.
right.
Come
Go ahead and
back with our
text, go ahead and
business
text them.
plan.
That still works. You want to get Cleveland on? Cleveland, you want to give us your final thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I just like I said, it's a truly honor and a privilege to work with Dr. Stan, but mainly just call him like my uncle, a person that I really like Rich said, a mentor, a friend. He was more than that. He was like my teacher. Like the knowledge that he gave me was so I can't not take that for granted. And
Yeah.
the rest of the things about him was so awesome. I'm just so floored and truly will miss him. Everybody from Internet Media Providers, we will truly miss Dr. Stan Fine.
Yes.
Diane,
Thank you.
go ahead if you could. want
Quickly,
to,
we're into our last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same with Cleveland and Rich, reiterated. He just left a huge void in my life and in my professional and my personal life. And I miss him terribly already. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Dr. Stan, we all love you, as Rich been saying all show, and we learned so much from you. We will miss you dearly, and we're still solid.
Yes.
So
We're still solid.
Yeah.
We're family.
And we're family.
Yeah.
We're family
All
and
in
we're
the
solid.
family.
Yes.
We're all in the family.
Yes.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, everyone. I will miss Dr. Stan equally. We will see you next week. Keep watching, keep listening, because we're going to be here for you. Have a great day.